Creator, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, whatever you like to call, that same energy came to create all of us. What I think those teachers came to show us is what we can become when we allow the presence of God within ourselves and allow that to flow. And how I'd say most things are by intention. So when we ground ourselves, when we come from our heart, we all true can do great miracles and do great healing. And through that, we can pray over the food, or we can ask for those chemicals to be raised out of it. The thing is, we don't ask. When you ask, it's given. If you don't ask, you don't get.
There's actually a book by that title, Ask and It Will Be Given to You.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good book. I've read it. Now, you talk about energy. I once took a class from Montauk Chia about sexual energy. Do you work with this sexual energy at all?
We all do, and if you see the medical sign, it's a sign that goes up like this and a snake on top of it. Over all doctors, that's actually the Kundalini energy that goes through our body. And when we're balanced, emotionally, mentally, physically, but we're balanced female, male, the way I look at it is the female side is the left side of the body, and the right side is the male. And we balance that Kundalini energy, our body automatically heals.
Okay. But also that sexual energy has gotten a lot of people in trouble, especially politicians. Is there a way to control that wayward sexual energy?
Well, I would say that was our shadow. So our body is our light, and behind us is the shadow. So we have to be responsible and accountable for our energy, especially when we have power. And then you see where power gets misused. So it's about being responsible ourselves with our energy and how that energy goes.
And even to be aware of it, because I think a lot of times we act on our energy and not aware of it. Do you happen to know why two snakes were chosen as that medical symbol?
Well, I think snakes are a sign of transformation. And so as we heal, the skin peels off the snake and comes into a new.
Okay.
So I would think that's why.
All right. Now, back to Stacy.
Okay.
Where does that trance channel information come from?
It comes from God's source, whatever you conceive it to be, and the energetics of, there's many different ascended masters or angel realms, or depending on what people's belief systems are, there's a divine energy source, and the flow comes through. A collective mind? A collective mind, yes.
Yeah.
A collective, and so that's where, there's things when I'm in that space and people are asking questions, there's stuff that I personally, as Stacy Rush, would not know that information about them, just specific details for them, or know the names of people.
So you go into a trance like Edgar Cayce, the famous sleeping prophet?
Yes, not to the extent where I'm in complete trance, but I go into a trance state with a semi-conscious remembering. That way I can have access, if I needed to clarify something, information that they got, that I can still myself into my own meditation and then receive whatever is necessary.
And how long will you stay in that trance state?
So far for the groups that I've done, longest has been like 4 hours. Where to me it seems like I'm gone for 5 minutes, but the amount of people that were there, it was like 25 or 30, I believe, and they each had a question.
Do you have a party? Was it a party or something?
Somebody invited me into their living room of their home, and they invited friends and people that they knew and wanted to experience it because they had seen me somewhere else.
And do you communicate with people who have passed on? Let's say somebody says, well, I lost my brother at an early age. Can you talk to the brother then?
At times, when I'm in the trance, it's not so more or less as my dialect necessarily with it. I do that through more of the DNA theta process. But people have asked questions and they've gotten messages in terms of deceased members.
Do you ever film yourself? Videotape?
At the beginning, we did have a friend that was doing it quite often, but it's been a while since I've done. It's been over a year probably.
Now, Edgar Cayce is famous for his healings. Do you recommend certain foods or exercise or etc. For people that are in need of a healing?
Myself personally, no, but as far as like recommendations, what is best practice is to eat more of like the healthier greens, almost like a raw or vegan type, in order to
Okay.
detox the body.
Okay.
And that's a process that I'm working on, getting into. But on vacation, I of course still occasionally eat the fast foods and whatnot. But it's about getting the physical body to detox all the chemicals and toxins that we do gain from the environment and from the foods, the processed foods.
And when did you start becoming a trance channel?
Consciously, that I was aware of around 14 is when I was remembering it, but he asked in a channeling and once, and I got at the age of 12. But as far as, doing it for larger groups, it's only been maybe 3 years.
Now,
3.
are you going to be teaching a class at Infinity?
I just did it currently, or
Okay.
I just had June 28th was when I did the channeling there, but perhaps in the future. And then on the 28th, we're teaching a sacred smoke class, which is goes along the cleansing properties from the native traditions on how to cleanse like negativity, or like if somebody was sick in your home and you want to clear out some of the sacred smokes that you could do
Have
that
you
with.
heard of Billy Tapa-Tate?
I have. In
Yeah,
fact,
I've interviewed her twice. She's absolutely phenomenal. If you
Yes.
ever get a chance to meet her or take a class from her, I think she has an ongoing thing in Evanston every week.
I have some friends that are students of hers,
Yeah.
and so yes.
I mean, she's very authentic. I mean, besides being full-blooded Native American,
Yes.
I mean, she has lived the life.
That's me.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
hear.
I'm also getting from you too that you are living the life that you espouse.
Yes.
So what has trance channeling taught you about yourself?
It taught me a lot about getting out of my own way, and just how, where I've let, to gain the sense of peace and stillness, where I used to have the mind wander, like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. Well, now after, several years of this practice, faithfully since 2006, it's kind of like throughout my day I'll have that stillness mind where nothing comes in and out.
Do you ever get your fellow teachers asking for advice, or just saying that they could really use some meditation?
Sometimes. I've had people ask me things, or when they do ask, I just always, attempt to answer from the heart, and that feedback that I get from them is that, how do you always know the right thing to say at the right time? And it's just, I've been there and done that a lot of times, or, from my own experience, or just, whatever comes to my heart in that moment, just sharing that.
Well, I like what Richard said before. He says it's not done to us, it's for us. So if you keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a wonderful saying. Now, can anyone learn to be a trance channel?
Anybody can, absolutely. Anybody can do any type of energy work. No one has, it's not that I was born on this planet with more openness or gifts, than anybody else. It's how much is everybody willing to allow to receive love, because many of us can give and give and give, but the allowance of the receptivity for it to just come through, and then your openness kind of develops and builds as it
And
goes.
so what age can a person start to learn to be a trance channel?
Any age. Any age could really.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a, I have a friend that teaches channeling in the city, and I would recommend Cheryl No Day in Chicago for anybody that's really, set on learning that.
And where did you learn to trance channel?
Originally, just through my own teachers and guides in my meditational process, and then I did attend with some friends a class through Cheryl No Day at one point.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go back to Richard. Richard, what kind of clients come to you?
I think people come to me for a bunch of different reasons. A lot of people come to me for pain, scoliosis, back problems, cancer, emotional stuff, mental stuff, all kinds of things. A lot of people that come for pain, or basically with shoulder problems, elbow problems, stomach problems, anything with the physical body that hurts. And some people have emotional stuff that they go through deaths or divorces or different things like that.
Well, and so what's the first thing you do when a client comes through the door?
Well, I ask them why they came to me,
Yeah.
if they have any pain in their body, and what they would like to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives a little bit of a focus.
And and then once you understand, is it then you just use kind of laying on the hands or whatever energy method you use?
How I do my work is that it's like I get the energy of Creator and my guides, and they're talking to me at the same time, and their body's talking to me. So I have like 4 communications at one time coming to me. So when I touch the body, not even touching the body, I can just look at someone's body and I can scan it. I can see where the chakras are off, what energies they're holding on to, because I've done it so long. Then I'll start to touch the feet, and the feet will tell me a lot of stuff that they hold on to. And then from the feet, I'll trace the energy through the meridian lines into the organs.
Now, are you touching the person, or are you just sensing?
I can sense and I can touch. I can feel, hear, see.
Are you trained as a massage therapist too?
I'm not trained as a massage therapist, but I've learned a lot of techniques from different massage therapies and massage therapists. We've had a wellness circle in Des Plaines. We've had it there for 6 years, and we've had a few hundred. So when something feels good, I say, teach me. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've kind of learned some massage thing. But all of my stuff is intuitive, and I do a lot of meridian and trigger point work. A lot of people with sciatica or back problems. I've seen miracle after miracle after miracle, and miracles within myself. And that's what got me started.
Well, talk a little bit about how you got started.
Okay, so how I got started 11 years ago, I broke my leg. I had a compound fracture. The bone...
Was it an automobile accident?
I fell off a fire escape. The bone came out of the left side of my leg, the other one cracked in half. And then I ended up with 2 slip discs in my neck. I had 3 surgeries on my leg. I was in a wheelchair for about 1.5 years.
Did you two know each other at this
Not
time?
at the time, no.
Not at that time.
No.
And so I went to a chiropractor to get my back worked on, and he worked with me with acupuncture and Activate method, and with the needles, the Chinese needles, acupressure.
What kind of work were you doing at the time?
At that time, I owned a record label.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
what kind of music?
Heavy metal, actually.
So you really changed.
Yes. So that was my wake-up call of stop numbing my childhood.
And it was not done to you, it was done for you.
It was happening for me. It was a blessing.
Yeah.
And so that was... he worked on me 2 years in a row. 1 year, I got healed. My neck was healed. The second year, I wasn't. And he said, you're going to need a neck surgery.
Who told you that, the chiropractor?
The chiropractor from his x-rays. I'm giving you a neck specialist. You're probably going to have a neck surgery. So I had 3 surgeries in the legs. I didn't want to have it. I experienced some energy work. At the time, I was taking a handful of Vicodins and Aleve just to stay out of pain. I'm not a back sleeper. And the first session I went to, I came out with no pain.
Your first session with whom?
With this lady named Mary Friddle and Tom Montalbano. And they do this work, it's called Quantum Touch.
And yeah, I've heard of it before. I might even interviewed somebody on Quantum Touch. And so was that one of your first energy modalities you were trained in?
That was.
Now, can you do these energy exercises on yourself?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
And so do you teach people in your workshops to work on their energy themselves?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Excellent.
That's the both main thing of, as my title is Wellness Artist Practitioner, I think being well is an art. And it's not just energize-wise, it's what we eat, the vitamins we take.
Well, I would say to you, food is energy.
Well, yeah, food is energy,
Yeah.
but what kind of energy are you putting in your body?
Everyone's really their own healer.
Yeah.
It's just getting the tools taught so that they can
And as you were
allow for
saying,
it.
All right. Well, I'm hearing getting the signal to wrap up. For more information about Stacy Rush, Richard Lipscomb, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, wish you good health, good spirits, and good fortune.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
Stacy.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-8828.